And joining us in the studio to discuss our first conversation this morning is Dr. Buhari Bello Kware. He's the National President, Usmanu Danfodio University Sokoto Alumni Association. He is also the former head of service Sokoto State and presently Senior Lecturer, Department of History and International Studies. And also joining us here in the studio is Dr. Regina.
You didn't allow him to respond.
Oh, sorry.
You didn't allow him to respond.
I was just flowing. You're welcome to Good Morning, Nigeria.
Thank you
Sorry
very
for
much.
the
Thank you for having me. Good morning, Nigeria.
Good morning. I will also have Dr. Regina Omagege. She's retired Director, INEC, Executive Director, Women Education Advisory and Development Initiatives. She's also President of the Global Chapter of Udus Alumni. You're welcome to Good Morning, Nigeria.
Thank you for having me.
At least we have a balance today.
We do.
Yes.
All right. Let me just also welcome our third guest, Barrister Abdurrahman Ahmed Al-Bushra. Al-Bushra. Okay, Al-Bushra. Chairman, Local Organizing Committee and Chairman, Abuja Chapter of Udus Alumni. All right. You're welcome to Good Morning, Nigeria.
Good morning, Nigeria. Thank you for having us here.
All right. So let's just start with Dr. Buhari Bello Kware, who is the national president. Let's look at the role of alumni, what they play in enhancing education development in the country. What role do they play?
Thank you very much. You see, their role begins with the thinking nowadays that government cannot do everything. Government cannot take care of all institutions in the country. And that is what has prompted the thinking that the old students of all institutions should endeavor to come together and assist their mother or their alma mater, at least to improve the infrastructure, because earlier than now, you know, governmental institutions used to have very fine structures and infrastructure, and now I will say they have run into decaying position. And therefore, there is need for the products of the various universities and higher institutions to salvage the situation. And that is what is prompting the emergence of various alumni associations. Okay. In fact, you'll observe nowadays, even at primary level, you will see old boys. At secondary level, you see them. And they are doing something very good because they are complementing the efforts of the government and also the university authorities. Like in our own case, since when the association came into being, all our attention has been focused on how to improve the situation. So you'll see that we liaise with the university authority to, effect the actualization of certain programs of the university. And nowadays, recently, we are embarking on provision of some infrastructure facilities, like the global branch in collaboration with the national association, National Executive Council of the association are collaborating to provide solar boreholes for the university, allowing the students hostel area. And there are other projects of vital importance that the association intends to go into with a view to complementing the efforts of government and the university authority.
Thank you so much for your opening comments. We'll get deeper into as we get deeper into the conversation, we'll begin to find out what you are doing, because the alumni, they play a very vital role in supporting their alma mater. Their contributions is diverse and meaningful, and some of them go out there and sell the universities to other people. And Udus is one university that we hear a lot about, and it's a far away Sokoto, we say, but the name stands out when you hear Usmanu Danfodio University. Let's bring in Dr. Omar Agege into this conversation. The Udus alumni is trying to bring to the fore issues that affects this university. We've seen other universities around the world who help the alma mater, even in admission, bringing new people into the university, referral, and representing the university well. Now you're going to have, I think, is it a conference or a seminar on UDUS? What has the alumni done so far? As you are the head of the global, chapter of the UDUS alumni, what has the, members of the alumni from the diaspora been able to contribute to the growth and development of UDUS?
Oh, thank you very much. You see, your question is multidimensional.
Yes.
You are indeed asking me to say everything that alumni does by giving back to their alma mater. And I want to tell you confidently and proudly so that it resonates with what we do. And you see, when you define alumni, most people define it at a micro level, whereas it is very macro. It does not just go beyond going back to the university, doing projects. I was in school with you. We were in class together. Today, maybe Providence is smiling on me. I'm not smiling on you. I should remember those good days when we soaked Gary together, and I should come to your rescue.
When you did 001.
Thank you. I should. All these are part of alumni activities.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe one of us is sick. You cannot just allow your fellow classmates to die. You have to come up. You have to rally around. I'll give you an example. Recently, we had a case in the Global where somebody had to do an open heart surgery. The message came suddenly, and suddenly we went into action. We raised the money. The operation was successful, and the person is alive today. It gives us pleasure that we did it. But why did we do it? Because we went to the same university. If we didn't go to the same university, we won't know each other. We won't have any need for each other.
The connection will not be there.
The connection will not be there. So giving back to the university is more than infrastructures you put in place in the university. The meaning is beyond definition. It's very elastic. You want to define alumni activities in so many, many ways. But at the Global, we try as much as possible to balance. Give back to the university, run around our fellow alumni, do all that we can do to promote the name of the university. But what is very important is that anywhere you are, you have to fly the flag. I'll give you an example. I am from Delta, and some people did not understand why I should go to school in Sokoto. Because the thinking was that, okay, there were so many good universities in the South, why would you go to Sokoto University? Sokoto University is not... And I said, okay, please show me one good university in the South. And somebody mentioned Ibadan. So I made sure that after my first degree, I went to read my master's at Ibadan. When I came back, I asked the person, but I didn't see any difference because I discovered that I had a very good foundation at University of Sokoto. So do you have another story to tell me? He said, you are not telling the truth. I said, but you see, you have to stop profiling. You have to stop profiling. A university, abilities are mixed all over the world. That is why when you do WAEC, the best candidates could come from a school that is not, people don't even look at.
Yeah.
So you see, your alma mater should be your pride. It should be a place you want to grow. It's like your parents' home, where you grew up. You are now opportune. Maybe when you were growing up there was no fridge in the house. You are now grown. You want to buy a fridge for mama and papa to use. That is the relationship. Between that same relationship you have between yourself and your parents should be the same relationship you should carry to your alma mater, because it's a family. It's a bond that cannot be described, you know. So whether you like it or not, you have to give to your alma mater in terms of your performance, your behavior, and the way you see your alma mater is very important. Because if I go somewhere and misbehave, they ask, where did she even graduate from? So could I have disgraced my alma mater?
Yes.
But if I fly the flag well, I have taken good news back home. I think that's all I'll tell you.
Thank you
for
very
now.
much, at
Now,
least for
yeah.
your opening remark, telling us that it's not a micro, but it's macro. It's large. We should not just box it. You know, it's just, thank you so much. But let's look at other aspects also of the Alumni Association, the role of mentorship. Let me call on the Barrister Abdurrahman now. The role of mentorship, I mean, how easy is this? You know, when we talk about mentorship, I mean, give us your experience. How can alumni influence education policy, mentorship program to benefit, you know, the students and also the just recently graduated students of the university?
Well, thank you very much. Good morning once again. If you go into history, when the university was founded in 1975 with first set of 200 students, little did government of Nigeria knew that they were investing in a future that would define what Nigeria should look like. I can tell you for free, in between 1975 and today, statistics show us that Osman Nfodio University has produced over 3,000 lawyers. And most of them are making waves in the judiciary all over the world. That is number one. Number two, as we are growing, you discover that there's a need to relate with each other. The alumni give us that platform. At every function, you meet new intakes, new people who have just graduated into the market.
Yeah.
And they need to know the terrain. They need to know how to navigate. Now, the National Executive Council of the Alumni set up a mentorship committee.
Okay.
And this committee has been working, you know, in collaboration with all the state chapters. As soon as you land in your new state, as a COPA, for example, we absorb you into the alumni situation, and then we give you, you know, a kind of platform to find a level growing field. So I think Osman Nfodio University, Sokoto, had given the federal government of Nigeria a perfect ROI, return on investment. Because look at all sphere of human endeavor, in politics, intelligentsia, in the economy world, in the banking, in academia. Today we have one of the most erudite neurosurgeon making waves in the world. You can keep counting. You know, I think even the product that has graduated from that university had become a kind of, you know, benchmark for its graduates. I want to be better than A, B, C, D, F, G, H. Because
I want to ask, how do you identify your graduates, you know, in the outside world for you to be able to mentor them?
very good. You see, this is the platform. Now, the university has developed a system.
Yeah.
As you are graduating,
Okay.
you are, called into the alumni, and that gives you a kind of a record. You can track our graduates now.
Okay.
And there is this attempt to have a complete database of all the students.
Okay.
Don't forget that some of us, in this room, for example, there are some people who had left the university from like 40 years.
40 years.
I left the university 37 years ago, 36. And then you can keep looking. So at the point in time, the statistics were not very good. But with development in record keeping today, we're trying as much as possible, working in collaboration with the alumni office in the university, which is a big department now. to keep data of all the graduates in such a way that you can track them. And then now we're thinking through the national office by virtue of the national president to work in collaboration with NYSC so that as soon as our graduates are hitting the town, we could know where to locate them right from the camp. And that program will kick off next year by God's grace with the next level of, next set of corpus going to various states in Nigeria. So as soon as you're in camp, the branch the branch executive will locate you and then grab you so that at least you know you are home away from home. I don't think there's any part of Nigeria today that you will find a graduate of Usman Dan Fodio University. In fact, in my time, I think it is the most detribalized university in Nigeria. People from all walks of life, from all nooks and crannies of Nigeria are there, including places you don't even believe could live as far back as there to Sokoto. And then look at...
What about those in the diaspora?
That is why we have the global branch.
Okay.
The global branch are in track of, they keep pinching their alumni so that you have people to relate with. And beautiful as it is, technology has given us edge now. So it's easy to track each other now.
Yeah, it's easy to track each other now. I know she talked about profiling, and I was smiling because when we were in the UNIMAID, somebody came in from another state in the southeast, and he came to read mass communication. I actually said, it's going to be a walkover. Within 6 months, he was, Omo, sis, this is tough. I didn't know that it is that tough. So how do you tell people outside Sokoto State that UDUS has a lot to offer? UDUS has a platform that can project you on a trajectory of growth and make you excel in whatever field you want to excel. What kind of message are you sending out to Nigerians and to parents that as alumni of UDUS University, this university is safe, the academic teaching is high, and your child will be able to achieve whatever he intends to achieve? What message are you sending out to Nigerians?
Well, the message I would want to send is, number one, if you had observed what took place yesterday during our dinner, you will have noticed that we have various people of various categories and callings that graduated from the university. And that is significant to show you how they were developed. Now, apart from that, also, you need to understand that Usman Dan Fodio University has been one of the most peaceful universities in Nigeria. You have not had riots, demonstrations, and what have you. And in fact, the location of the university, in fact, encouraged that to happen because it's far away from the town, and therefore any problem is easily tracked and addressed. But because it is the seat of the caliphate, we have been internalizing the ideals of the caliphate in respect of preaching peace and living in peace with our neighbors. So actually anybody who has the intention of coming to a university where he will enjoy peace, he should choose Usman Dan Fodio University, Sokoto. Because actually it is the home of peace. And you will also trust me that the nature of the quality education being imparted in the university is one factor. And you will also note that various departments have been fully accredited, and also we have sufficient lecturers to handle various courses in the university. And that is why you see students trooping to the university to study. It will amaze you if you go to the university to see people coming from all parts of the country, including the extreme southern part of Nigeria, who before were usually fearful of coming to the extreme southern part of the country. So it's because of the atmosphere of tranquility that is still reigning in the university that is attracting people from all walks of life, including people from other countries such as Niger and Chad. You'll find them in Usman Danfodio University presently. So I think those are the factors attracting students to the university.
Okay, thank you very much for giving us the insight into factors attracting students into the university there. Let me come to Dr. Agege. The other time you talked about, people volunteering, to assist, each other, especially the alumni and of the university here and there. Let's look at the issue of volunteerism now. How do you promote it? How do you encourage your members to volunteer, probably in assisting the university in one way or the other? These days there are shortages. We have shortages of teachers, lecturers, and all that. Do you have some of your members offering to probably come in once in a while to lecture? Those who are, those who have probably with the first class or 2-1, we have in some universities, they will volunteer, okay, occasionally we just go and give tutorial to students and all that. How do you encourage volunteerism in your association?
Okay, thank you very much. But before I answer you, I want to answer some of the questions you asked him, okay, especially as it borders on mentoring.
Mentoring, okay.
Okay. Sorry, I'm a pastor. And, we say that if you are a good Christian, you don't preach, you don't speak. Your character preaches for you.
Action.
Thank you. Action, they say, speaks louder than voice. Like we had a dinner yesterday, some 2 young girls from the university came and gave some poem. I was amazed when one of the girls said, how do I be like the Regina Omo Ageges? How did she know me? She must have been reading about me, hearing about me. She now sees me as a model. For her, I'm already a mentor because she wants to behave like me. So you see, mentorship goes beyond personal interaction. They mentioned some other people's name, but surprisingly, they did not mention some. Why did they not? They don't want to associate with those people. So you mentor people from your alma mater by putting off good behavior out there, and they want to be like you. There is nobody who does not want to be like a good person, in quotes.
Yeah.
If, like, I am Urobo, I'm from Delta, but each time I dress, I cover my body, I tie my hair, my people tell me I'm dressing like an Hausa woman. How did this come about? Sokoto influence. I stayed there, and all these are part of mentorship. You see, you pick them and putting the whole together. And then again, when you were talking about somebody coming to Unimeda, you see, people don't have the real definition of what they talk about. There is standardized education all over the country, and particularly give it to Nigeria. We run a curriculum that runs across all universities. So what now makes you feel that because your university is located in a particular place in the country, the curriculum will be different from the one? It's like the standardized WAEC exam, the standardized JSS 3 exam, because the curriculum is one. They don't even know what the policy on education is all about. Now let me come to you about volunteerism. Like in the global chapter, we know ourselves, and we are just a family. That if something happens to one, it has happened to all. And perhaps because of some kind of style, every week I ring everybody to find out how they are doing. And if I see you are not very active on the platform, I'll call you, hey, what's happening to you? And from there, I get to know you have a problem, you know? And I won't even mention your name. I'll put it on the platform. We have somebody who is in need. Please, let's try. And in 1 hour, 2 hours, we have sorted out the problem. When it comes to volunteering to go give back to the university, we have not really done that. But I'm sure some people are doing it. But it's a good thing to do. Like, I have it in mind that we should be going to give some trainings, workshops. I have it in mind. I was just telling him yesterday that I have this thing I'm thinking in my mind that we can come together and be giving trainings, workshop. We might have many lecturers who are still analog. We have gone AI already. So we have to put this training together, teach them how to do it, and it will definitely improve the system. Giving back to the alma mater is the nucleus of your life, because this is the institution that trained you. And when you come out, you see, without knowing, you are competing with other universities. You are competing with them in the sense that, let me give you an example. When I went to do my master's in UI, I read special education. And my lecturer came to the class one day and asked if there was anybody here that had not seen the Braille paper. Of course, I hadn't seen Braille paper, so I raised my hands. You know what he said to me? I know you wouldn't have seen it because you are from Sokoto. I was very pained. I was so pained that when I was going back to Sokoto, I made sure I went with enough Braille papers to show to my students so that they don't get same comment from anybody, from anywhere. So you see, you without knowing, you are fighting for your alma mater. You do it unconsciously, but you are always fighting for your alma mater. Let nobody underrate me because I come from this, because you have been profiled. There's a lot of profiling going on in Nigeria. This person comes from here, nothing good can. So you have to fight for your alma mater. And in fighting for your alma mater, you are giving back in so many, many ways. So we will make sure that we do trainings. It's not only when somebody is in trouble. Somebody should be able to say, okay, let me go and train these people in so-so area, even if they know it before. Knowledge is never wasted.
Power.
And learning terminates at death. So as long as we're alive, we'll continue learning.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's bring in Doctor into the conversation again. And
Barrister.
Barrister, sorry. So we talked about standardized curriculum across the country, all universities, and things are changing. The education system is changing, evolving around the world. You know, education is now geared towards skills, AI, technology, robotics, and all that. So what is the alumni doing to bring awareness to the students in school that there are some courses that are obsolete? They don't really matter. They can't even pay you. You can't get a job with it. So how do you begin to educate them and encourage them that they need to gear towards a course that will offer skill at the same time and be able to push them further to achieve their dreams? What are you doing as an alumni to raise this awareness?
Thank you very much. You see, luckily for our alumni, in the last 3 sets of the vice chancellors that stand to be corrected, they were all product of Usman Danfodio University, including the most current vice chancellor, Professor Bashir Garba. And you know, because they were part of the system ab initio from beginning, they understand where they are coming from, where they met the university and where they're taking the university to. So nobody knows the nooks and crannies of your house better than you. So the evolving trend now had started generating some kind of concern that what do you do with this mass production of students that are not going to be relevant to the modern day needs of the world. Now, but luckily for Smart Audio University, it has always been, a kind of an institution, permit me to say like an amoeba, it fits all into the space. There is no time that you run into any product of Smart Audio University with modesty that you won't be able to take away something different. I think it was the environment, like my president said. I think it is the kind of education we had and are still having in Smart Audio University. So better for us to see it from the fact that we are keen into the 21st century educational system. Because at the last dinner, I remember the Vice Chancellor saying that now there's a new policy of making, putting in a kind of a system where a student has to run a work hour in specific skills. So we are gradually elevating certificates, instead of just certificates. So certification is becoming the trend in the world today. It's not just how you read and write. You must be able to put hands on the barrel and make a product and make something out of it. So the course schedule now is they're trying to systematize it in such a way that you're not just coming to learn A, B, C, D to Z, but using your hand to do certain things, which will now go into your credit system as course system. So, from now on, that is moving with the trend. And when you're talking about volunteerism, my president here was a retired head of service and still went back into the system to lecture. And you have many of them like that. So it is not out of style. But again, just like Dr. Agige said, now all of us don't have to be in Sokoto to volunteer to lecture. We could do it, via the internet today. I can sit in the comfort of my office and educate all the law students in Faculty of Law on modern trends in the legal field. The doctor there can tell the medical students how to do things. And I think the alumni is gradually working towards connecting with the university on this. And that is why the university deliberately set up a very strong, alumni relations with someone who was a product of Audio University, worked all his life in Audio University, so he knew the terrain of Audio University, and so he can key into the issue of relating, being the connection between the university and the students. So we're not doing badly.
Still talking on certificates.
Yes.
Let's talk about access. Not every child or student in university can have access maybe to a computer, to an iPad, and to be able to do all the things like you said, receive your lectures, via satellite. So what is the alumni doing to give access to the students? Is there any like a computer ICT hub where they can go in and do whatever they want to do? And
on Saturday there was a lecture in the morning, and one young lady walked up to the current Vice Chancellor and said, "Sir, I think there is a loophole in our system." And, Vice Chancellor was very, inquisitive. What is she talking about? And she said, we're not doing anything about our students that have physical disability. Because it's time we allow them to key into something practical that will give them leverage, not just their paper certification. And the Vice Chancellor said, you know what, I'll set up a committee. He took her number and name and said, I will drag into that committee. This is something that happened on Saturday morning.
And she's a student?
She was an ex-student. She's
Okay,
she's a copper.
okay.
And she's not disabled. She doesn't have any disability, sorry. But her own thinking was that, okay, why can't we do this? And right then, the Vice Chancellor said, please give me your name and telephone number. I'm setting up a committee. Since this is your idea you're muting, we're going to put it on the platform. So that is one novel area. Now, but again, we're talking about access to these facilities. We can't give it all, but we can start sowing a seed. We know that some of our brothers and sisters in diaspora have access to all these things. The president is here, she's here. This interaction is to learn from each other. So we can look into that aspect too and see how we can collaborate with organizations across the world.
Like Naseni, they are
Good,
producing
iPads.
iPads.
So
Yeah,
we could,
yeah.
that is a beautiful idea, and we'll take it home and look at it and see what we can do with it, so that at least we can encourage, a kind of keen into the 21st century learning process. And we thank you very much for that seed you just sown.
All right. Thank you very much, Barrister Abdurrahman. Well, let me come back to the national president now. And he said something about certificate, that we should not depend on certificate alone any longer. The ability now should be focused on. And that takes me to the policy of government. So how can alumni association influence education policy, in this country and reform in Nigeria along that line?
Well, that is what we have been doing actually, and what we did yesterday and day before yesterday can be counted as one example of how we can come together, aggregate our views, and champion the views for the consumption of not only government but the larger society. You will see that at a time when there is no interaction, even your family members may not even know what is happening to you or what you intend to do. But the way you are assembling people and hearing their views and prompting them to behave in a kind of way that will be helpful to the growth of the society matters. And you will see that anytime there is intention to change policies of government, the stakeholders are always invited. And I do believe all these transformations are happening with the inputs of not only university functionaries, but also voluntary associations like ours, the Alumni Association. And if I can comment about the issue of mentoring that you just spoke about. In fact, just last 2 months, we engaged a consultant to study how entrepreneurial skills will be introduced for the benefit of products of Usman Danfodio University and even students that are still in the school. And I'm sure by the time we finish fine-tuning the strategies to adopt, that will see us requesting students to key into that. And I know that will be helpful. But certainly, any time there is an opening by government to address certain issues, I'm very sure our association will impute its inputs into whatever is being addressed. So I think in respect of that, we are waiting and we are utilizing that opportunity to make government know our views about certain issues, especially that directly affect our students and our present members.
Okay, as the conversation on this topic begins to wind down, nothing is perfect in life, so you must have some challenges. I'm still going to do it so that the others can comment on it too. What are the challenges the Odus alumni is facing in the move to implement whatever strategy you have to improve and develop the school further?
Well, problems are like babies. The more you nurse them, the more they grow. So as such, you need to look at the issue of challenges from different angles. If you look at the nature of how the students themselves graduate and disperse, you will understand that when you want to invite them for a meeting is a challenge. Thank God now we are having the advantage of the digital era that is assisting us to have our meetings together. So that may be a challenge. Funding may be a challenge also, because nothing is enough. In fact, if you want to be heard and if you want to be seen, you have to mobilize the resources. Thirdly, we are happy now that our members are always ready, because it will interest you to note that the functions we had 2 days ago were financed by members of the alumni. We did not request for any assistance from people that are outside the association. And members, by virtue of being the members of the association, actually contributed wholeheartedly. And we enjoyed it because we were able to host all the days without any rancor. And luckily, we are not facing challenges from the university, because the university is giving us all the assistance we require. And right now, we are putting heads together with the university to organize activities. In fact, even last month, the alumni was appointed into the ceremonies committee of the university. We are going to conduct 50th anniversary of our university. So you can see the closeness of the university management to the alumni association. So that is reducing some of our challenges.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Okay, let me bring in Dr. Regina now. Well, let's talk about some of the successful projects that the alumni has undertaken. Can you share with us examples of successful community-based projects that your alumni association has undertaken?
Okay. I have a way of always wanting to add to any question asked me. You talked about certificate. Okay, now you know that for any institution to exist, there is a curriculum. In fact, there is a national policy on education from governments, and there is a standard curriculum given to every institution at whatever level. And we also have co-curriculum and extra-curriculum activities. Like a university sited in the riverine area, I mean, naturally, we want to go for fisheries because the natural waters are there. So it's not a big deal when you add these extra curriculum activities to your curriculum, because it helps develop the place. In fact, it helps you better. So I just wanted to say that.
No, I mean, what actually I asked was, how does it influence the education policy in the country?
That is it. It influences it by making it robust.
Okay, good.
Because you have brought in something which ab initio was not there. So now you have a curriculum already, a standard curriculum, and now you are in an area where there's abundance of waters. You are saying, okay, let us add fisheries, which will benefit the society. It will benefit the immediate community and benefit the students, even when they go out. Today you are hearing of fish farming, and how did this come about? It's through introduction of fisheries in some polytechnics and some universities. So everything is not spelled out in the curriculum.
Okay.
The curriculum has the leverage to add what is beneficial and legal to their system, at least to produce the kind of individual that government wants us to produce. Now, about projects in the university, there are many. Let me start with the current ones. I do know that as a global, we are sinking a borehole,
Okay.
so that we can have more water. And I do know of most of our alumnus expanding their departments, like the history department, I do know of some extra building being built. So there are so many physical structures that are being built in the university. There are a lot is being done. And we are thinking of doing more.
The local community where the university is situated,
Yes.
is there any effort by the Alumni Association to encourage, the communities there to get involved? I mean, to help the community, number one, and also to encourage, the youths in the area, for education and all that.
They have always helped them. Even far back as when I was there, they've always helped the local community and encouraged the youth. In fact, even the students do help them. So they've lived very well. They've lived very well together. I can remember most of the youth being engaged by the university students. They pay them. And I remember the university extending projects to the community. That has been done long ago. I left the university in 1985.
That's a long time. That's a long time. I know, Barrister Abdurrahman, you want to add something to it. I saw you, nodding.
Because, when you're talking about the influence of the university on immediate community.
Yeah, the immediate
Very
community.
profound.
I remember very well back in my time from 85 to 1990.
Yeah.
The community access the medical facilities of the university.
They do.
So they don't have to go into town. The university is sited in Dondai, which is like 15 kilometers from town, if I'm right, sir?
Yes.
But
Very
again,
close to NTA.
very close to NTA. But then the community have access to the medical facility of the university then, as far back as then. And then I know very well that the presence of the university in their community gingered some of them to want to be like the students in the community.
So they went to school.
So they started going to school en masse. I'm very sure as of today, the community can count the number of graduates from their community.
How do you measure your impact, in the university and also in the community?
Yes.
The impact of the association.
Now,
How do you measure it?
No, this is it. You can't have it all, but then you can do your best and continue the rest. Now, the university, just like my president said, because of limited resources, chasing so much needs, you have to be strategic in how you input this certain development. The fact access roads in that community built by the university had made, is a farming community. The whole of the area has what we call Fadama. So farmers around that area, because of the availability of good road network, have easy access to taking their products to the market without, damages. So even if that is what government has given them, they had taken development very close by virtue of the location of the university around the community. And the lights around, Usman Afford University is a center of excellence in terms of energy studies. Now, as far back as 90s or 2000s, I know solar energies had been, all the street lights there provide electricity for the road, and it extends the whole of the university environment. Okay. There's strategic lights everywhere, which government ordinarily wouldn't have taken there if not for the location of the university. So, and I think all these are value added by interrelationship between the community and the university. And most of the work hands, assistants needed in the university are hired from the immediate community, which empowers them economically too, because they are meaningfully engaged.
Okay.
So university life had changed tremendously the life of the community and make them more pragmatic, more understanding. I remember very well then, some of the communities in my time even learned to speak other languages apart from Hausa. They pick the English language as a form of communication with those who can speak Hausa, because they interact with them daily. So they pick, and then that drives some of them to go back to school and become like the people they see every day around them. So the impact, in fact, I don't know, God bless the people who thought of starting the university in that location. Okay. Because wonderfully well, it did change the narratives.
You want to add to
it? It has not changed right now, because it has been a deliberate policy by the university, one, to ensure the engagement of the members of the immediate community in terms of employment, in terms of even contract award. In fact, so many structures in the university are carried out by the indigenous contractors around. And you see, immediately you go to Usman Danfodio University now, you will observe that the youths are blending into the academic community by assisting the students and also picking up various petty trading businesses around, and even being employed in various departments as staffers. I remember even in my department, there is a student who is a butcher. By the influence he has obtained, he quickly enrolled into primary school, secondary school, is now an undergraduate. And what is interesting is he goes to school, and after school, he will carry his bowl of meat and sell to students. He has not left that. And there are others who are also other traditional vocations, and they will go to school. After school, they will engage the students and even the staffers in the sale of their wares.
Okay, let's talk about something that is fundamental, and we need to talk about it. That is exceptional students. Times are hard. Some students can't afford to go to school. Some are even dropping out right now. So what is your alumni doing in the area of scholarship to be able to keep the students in school until they graduate? Barrister, if you can.
Okay. At our dinner yesterday, from nowhere, because of the love of the university, a couple of people came up with profound ideas of taking the bull by the horn. I remember one of our alumni member who is into broadcasting, she offered series of trainings for students in broadcast journalism with promise of equipping them and funding their training, their education. And some other people started throwing challenges as, look, okay, ABCD, FGH students take to fund their education. The grand reunion brought in a new zeal of giving back to the university. My chapter, the FCT chapter, for example, agreed for the next 5 years to give the best graduating female students 200,000 naira every year for the next 5 years. And that is a starter. We're looking into another, that is to throw challenge back to the university. And the good thing about it is that Usman Danfodio University is a very lucky school, I can say it loud. We have not even tapped into 1% of our resources that we have. We have not into the manpower resources we have, the goodwill we have. We have not even taken 1% right now, and we're not doing badly. And we intend to push our luck as far as possible. Because, for example, Usman Danfodio University gave you the Minister of Information. That's just one. We gave you the Minister of Works, that is two. We gave you Attorney General of the Federation, 3. I can keep on counting in the Supreme Court, in Court of Appeal, in High Court, in INEC itself today. Just keep talking. And these are people who can hold their fort anywhere in the world.
They are products of your university.
They are all products of Usman Danfodio University.
Now, as we round up this conversation, because of time, we still have the second conversation. I want to ask Dr. Regina Omoagege, do you think the individual institutions are doing enough to foster engagement of alumni association?
That I would say no, because they should do more. She just mentioned just now that somebody said they will give 200,000 to some graduating. We've been doing that. At the Global, we have been sending money to the university for best graduating students in social area. It's just that in Global...
What about those in school who cannot
that's
afford
where,
it?
That's what I want, because I knew that was your question.
Yes.
That was when Professor Zuru was busy, I did write a letter to him asking him to send us some indigent students who cannot afford to pay their fees so that we could take it up. I haven't gotten a reply to it yet, and that is very critical. It's a very, very give back mechanism, because you just find these students, they can't even eat. And when you cannot eat, how do you read? So we are looking for such students to catch them and see what we can do for them. It's in our plan. That's in our plan. Training is in our plan. But to me, the alumni, they are not doing much. The alumni association, they are not doing much. Some of them just sit as a gathering of jamboree, especially when there are gatherings, when there are meetings. Work with your university. Work with your alma mater. Because when you were there, somebody was nice to you too.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. We have to round off this conversation now because of the other. We have another conversation. So institutions need to do more
They need to do more.
foster the engagement of alumni association. So we want to thank you, Dr. Buhari Bello Kwari, who's national president of the association. Also,
Thank you very
Dr.
much.
Thank you so much for coming. Dr. Omo Agege Regina, thank you so much. You're the President Global Chapter. And also Barrister Abdurrahman Ahmed Abushra.
Al-Bushra.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I apologize for
No, it's
ordering
okay.
your name. Chairman FCT Chapter and Local Organizing Committee. Thank you so much for coming on
you.
Good Morning Nigeria. We'll take a break now. Our second conversation on the CGC conference, which begins tomorrow, is it's coming after. Stay with us.
Nigeria, ready to breathe cleaner air and save money? Let's talk about gas. Drive with CN.